Hi, I'm Lexi. I am a blogger at lexineclectic.com where I share secrets of authentic homeschooling. I write about homeschooling my 6 children in the state of Indiana, and I share about our adventures. So today I wanted to share with you some confessions that I have. I have some homeschool mom confessions, and maybe you can relate to some of these. I think it's really important that we all understand that behind the blog there is a real person. And sometimes we have issues and we are kind of a mess. And so everyone has shortcomings and downfalls, and I have quite a few. So I made a list of a few that I was going to share and see if you can relate to any of them, because as much as we would like to believe our homeschool is perfect, we all know that it's not. Our housekeeping is not perfect. Our children are not perfect. We are not perfect. And we probably all have a few confessions that we could share. So I'm going to start off and share some of mine. So the first thing is, my kids stay in PJs all day. I do not make them get dressed. I don't care what they're wearing when they are doing their homeschooling. If they're in robes and their house shoes, great. If they put on clothes, great. Unless we are headed somewhere for a field trip, I don't require them to get dressed. I know a lot of people prefer their kids to get dressed because it just makes them feel more awake and more productive. No, for my kids, we just kind of snuggle and get our schoolwork done. We're not really morning people, even though we get up early. So I'm just happy that they're awake and that they're working on school. I don't care what they're wearing. I don't care if they fix their hair. My only requirement is that they brush their teeth, because no one wants to smell the morning breath when they're sitting next to you. So as long as their teeth are brushed, I don't care about anything else. And I'll tell you a secret, it actually makes for less laundry because they're not changing clothes so many times throughout the day. So if they stay in jammies all day, that's one less outfit that I have to wash the next day. My next confession, my kids do all the laundry. That includes my laundry. This year, in keeping up with all 6 of my kids, one of them is a toddler, one is a preschooler, I had a kindergartner, a 2nd grader, 3rd grader, and a 5th grader. And trying to keep up with all their schoolwork, all their activities, all their other household tasks, I could not find time to throw in a load of laundry. So I started delegating that to my kids. I taught them how to sort the laundry, how to start a load, how to switch a load. I've taught them which things that need to hang dry, which things need to be washed on delicate, and they do all of the laundry, including all of our laundry. So they become very good at laundry. But while I'm cooking meals, they can go start a load or switch a load and sort the laundry and get that done. And it's made our day run so much more efficiently now that I delegated the laundry to someone else. It is amazing how much more time I have in my day when I'm not trying to keep up with the load or two of laundry a day. I do 1 or 2 loads a day of laundry, and I don't have to do that anymore. I have so much more time where I can cook and take care of the little one and do things like that. The other confession, I don't get to art very often in my homeschool. I love art. I love doing art projects, painting, coloring. I love all the art supplies, but I just don't find a lot of time to do art. None of my kids seem really passionate about art, so they're not too upset when I let them go play Legos instead of doing an art project. So I always feel guilty for skipping art so often, but the truth is, I don't know that I'm super passionate about it either, and we're all just kind of happy not to make a mess and then have to clean it up later. Okay, science. I'm also not a great science mom. I do not love doing science, and this year I've kind of outsourced science. For my oldest, she's been watching a DVD program and doing science that way. So it's been a little less teaching for me, and she's able to still do science without me directing it and without me having to do as many experiments, because those are really messy and they can be time consuming. And with little people, it's not my favorite thing to do, to have to collect the supplies and do all the science experiments. So I'm confessing that I often skip experiments if I can, and I kind of shortchange science for my little people sometimes. Okay, another thing is my husband teases me about this one. He says I have a homeschool uniform. I have some t-shirts. I bought like 5 or 6 of the same style t-shirts in different colors. And then I bought that, about 5 or 6 pairs of shorts in different colors of the same style and brand. And he says that's my homeschool uniform. In the winter, it's actually some pajama pants. I have several different pairs, or yoga pants in different colors. But every day I throw on one of my little colored t-shirts and one of my shorts, and that's my uniform. And sometimes I even wear the same one the next day. If it's not too sticky and too dirty, sometimes I wake up and just throw the same one on, because if I'm not leaving the house, I don't really care. And if I can make less laundry for everyone, then yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I love reading aloud to my kids, but I have a lot of them, and the little toddler interrupts, and it can be really frustrating to try to get through a read aloud. With all the interruptions and the screaming and the arguing and the toddler getting into things and knocking things over. And so I have started purchasing a lot of audiobooks and letting my kids listen to those in their spare time instead of me reading to them. And I still feel a little guilty that I'm not sharing the actual book with them, but I'm still excited that they're able to listen to great literature and great stories, even if I'm not the one reading them. So instead of doing as many read-alouds this year, I have started buying more audiobooks and stocking up on those and letting my kids listen to those while I get some other things done around the house, or I care for the toddler who is intent upon getting into everything. So that's something I've really done to cut down on some of my time. I have really been excited about using audiobooks, and it has saved me tons and tons of time. So in the next few years, we're going to be getting more, and I will have to keep cutting back on my read-alouds with my kids. Another confession is I kind of take the afternoon off. My school day ends about 2, and at that point my kids are free to go play. The toddler naps, my kids go play, and I go to my room. I usually work out, I take a shower, I read a book. I just take the time off, and my kids know they can't come in my room. They can't interrupt me. And I'm not going to interrupt them. I'm not going to stop them from their playtime and ask them to do chores or find things for them to do. They know that they have uninterrupted time as well, and that's their time to just play. They can go outside, they can ride their bikes, they can play in the playroom, they can work on whatever project that they would like to work on. They just can't come bother me because I take a couple hours off, and that is my quiet time, and I don't allow any interruptions. Okay, my next confession, I clean about once a day. So I sometimes leave all the breakfast and lunch dishes until right after lunch. I just pile them all in the sink and let them soak. And I don't do them after every meal. I only wipe the counters once a day. That is right before bed. I sweep maybe every other day. But I only vacuum one floor. We have a 3-story house, and so I vacuum one level of the house a day. But I know some of my friends, they kind of pick up as they go, and I haven't been able to do that because I have to keep an eye on my little people. And if I stop to try to pick things up for 5 minutes, I've lost them, and they have completely destroyed another room in my house. So I clean about once a day. And sometimes I just let the mess pile up until evening, and we all pitch in for 30 minutes and just really pick up. So one day I would like to pick up as we go, but I'm just not at that point right now. And then my last confession is I sometimes forget to grade my kids' assignments. So I will assign them math pages, or they'll work on pages in, for my oldest, like her Latin or her Spanish, sometimes grammar pages. We will get to the end of the week and I will realize that I have forgotten to review those pages. And I will have to sit down and spend an hour going through all those pages, grading everything, and then sitting down with them to talk over what they have missed. And if I could remember to grade every day or grade as we go, that would be amazing, because I would be able to correct them right then and there, instead of having to go back and look through 5 or so lessons at a time, because I sometimes get busy and completely forget that I have not reviewed their work. So those are some of my confessions right now. I'm sure once our school year starts here in a few weeks, I will have many more to add to my list. So I hope you're encouraged knowing that we're all homeschool moms, we're all trying, and we all have different failures and shortcomings. But overall, this homeschool journey is a wonderful experience, even when it can be really challenging. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. I will post a link down below in the comments, and a link to a blog post where I talk about some other confessions from a couple years ago. I try to every so often just write down some of my confessions. It really keeps me grounded and really reminds me that as much as I try, I'm not perfect. And I hope it's encouraging to other people to know that everyone has different shortcomings. So I'll post that link in the comments.